Tonight, a revealing look at asexuality.
Juju Chang has a heart-to-heart with a rare breed of women and men living by their own rules.
But what if you're not wired like everyone else? What if you just don't want sex?
Have you ever heard of a committed romantic relationship with no sex? We are talking about asexuality, asexual couples.
Is America obsessed with sex? Don't answer till you meet these people.
I have no interest in sex. It's not like I just tried it once and went, ew, I gave it a good try.
They're asexual and they're fine with it.
Well, it may seem like sex is everywhere these days, but it's not on the mind of David J.
David J. is a 23-year-old ladies' man who is also a virgin and planning on remaining one. He's not a priest. He doesn't want to become a priest. He just says he's not interested in sex, and apparently he is not alone.
He says he has absolutely no sexual desire whatsoever.
People have no desire to have sex.
People with no interest in sex at all.
They in fact had no sexual attraction for other people.
Asexuality is really not having a desire or a need or a wish to be sexual with yourself or anyone else. It's where you have no sexual feelings or thoughts or desires, that piece of your life is not in play.
How does asexuality differ from celibacy?
Well, celibacy is a choice. Asexual people don't experience sexual attraction.
Explain what asexuality is.
Asexuality is a lack of sexual attraction. It is different from celibacy. It's not any kind of sexual dysfunction.
So you've never felt sexual attraction towards men, women?
I have not.
Paul, how about you? Same thing?
Same thing. Would you consider asexuality one of the categories now of sex? You have homosexuality, heterosexuality, gay, lesbianism. I mean, and now we have to add another term, asexuality?
Well, at this point, there is really no scientific backing for the idea that asexuality is an orientation. We just don't know enough about it yet. So the claim is a bit spurious. What we have to understand when we think about our sexuality in the first place is that it's extremely complicated, and it's a vital, dynamic process that grows and changes and involves every part of who we are. We are made up of so many elements, so many components. We are so colorful sexually that trying to put ourselves in little boxes, any one person putting themselves in a little box before fully exploring all of the possibilities, all of the feelings, and looking at them from both a neurological point of view, an emotional point of view, a relational point of view, and a physiological point of view means that we aren't seeing ourselves completely.
So if we're buying that we have this big spectrum of what we consider sexuality, then we must throw in the spectrum that there are people out there who just don't care, don't want sex, don't want to have that kind of intimate relationship. They might not mind touch, but they don't want to be touched intimately, sexually. They don't mind being hugged, they don't mind being kissed, but they don't want to go any further. How many people would consider what he's saying is that, you don't have to be sexual. Let's drop the sexual part of a relationship and just be intimate in other ways. How many people would do that? I'm going to talk to that one lady when we come back. I'll be asking you questions because I'm trying to find a humorous way to talk about what is a delicate subject in daytime. But at the same time, I'm not taking anything that you're saying lightly. And if a person feels this way and that's how they want to live their life, I have no ability to judge you or to complain about what you're doing. But I'm going to ask you. Now, you just said out of everybody in this room, and every person in this room was sitting there going, well, I live my life without having sex. No. And you said, I could.
When you think of the species as a bell curve, some people are going to have a lot of sex drive, some people are not going to have much, some are going to have none at all, and studies since the 80s find about 1% of the population has no sex drive.
In 2004, I published a study on asexuality. One of the interesting findings was about 1% indicated that they in fact had no sexual attraction for other people.
Can labeling oneself asexual become a self-fulfilling prophecy?
You might as well label yourself not curious, unadventurous, narrow-minded, blind to possibilities. That's what happens when you label yourself
as sexually neuter.
You have the ability to be sexually aroused.
Yeah. And right now there's been so little research done on asexuality that for the most part we don't know. But what little there's been indicates that there's no hormonal imbalance, there's no emotional disorder associated, there's nothing wrong with asexual people. It's just the way that we are.
Okay. I think a lot of viewers, and I know as I've been talking about this segment during the day, a number of people have said, well, he's gay, and he's just repressed. Do you get that a lot, and is that true?
A little bit. I mean, the thing is that asexual people still experience attraction. So you can be asexual and gay, asexual and straight, asexual and bi. Okay. Personally, I'm attracted maybe 80% to women, 20% to men. Huh. But, and other asexual people all over the spectrum. So it's not about attraction, sexual attraction, that maybe I'm not having that I don't realize. And also, I'm pretty active about how I explore my relationships with people, how I explore intimacy, and I'm not holding anything back.
Do you feel like you're missing out?
No. Well, I think that sex is a great part of a lot of people's lives, and it's really important. It's a great way to do a lot of things, to show that you love someone, to express intimacy, to have fun.
So why aren't you the most successful man in the world? I mean, if freed from the enormous energy it takes the average person, average man anyway, to think about sex all day long, I mean, I don't know, you'd have time to cure cancer. What are you doing with your free time?
Let's see. Well, right now I'm being on national television, but other than that, I mean, in a lot of ways, we just exchange one set of kind of things that we have to worry about for another. I mean, asexual people, I've got the same emotional needs as everyone else. So I still have to worry about relationships. I have to worry about, the complexities of non-sexual intimacy rather than the complexities of sexual intimacy.
Is it a problem?
No, it's not a problem.
So then why do you need to organize?
And there's a lot of things that aren't a problem that you need to organize around. We need to organize, well, partially because it's not getting talked about.
Because in the community, what we want is to have an open, honest discussion about a set of words you can use to figure yourself out. Here's an open discussion we're having, and we want you to be as honest about yourself as possible.
Okay.
How many people in the audience have had a close, intimate relationship with somebody that doesn't involve sexuality? Can we get more hands?
A close, intimate relationship with someone that didn't involve sexuality.
So why are relationships that involve this one activity so fundamentally different than relationships that don't? That's the question I want to pose to you. Because if they're not different, then I'm not really going through anything different than what sexual people are going through.
Okay. I'd say the biggest misconception about asexuality is that we aren't as capable of forming intimate, close relationships as sexual people are. And that's not true. If you look around the asexual community, there's all kinds of intense emotional connections that are happening all over the place.
Now, asexuals are building a community through this website, asexuality.org. It features chat rooms, sells T-shirts, and boasts 11,000 plus members worldwide, including our group, who say they're sexless and they're proud.
We're told that you need sex to be happy. We're told that the rules are that if you have a relationship, sex has to fit into it this way. And it's kind of fun to break that rule.
David J. is the website's founder and a leader of what some call a new asexuality movement.
The website is the Asexual Visibility and Education Network. It's asexuality.org.